Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play. This time around, it is Daffy Duck the Marvin missions for Super Nintendo. Published by Sunsoft, developed by Icom Simulations, who brought us Deja Vu, Uninvited, and Shadowgate. Yeah, Sunsoft made some games for Super Nintendo when, well, they weren't exactly that good. But this one I grew up with. I personally feel it's not that bad. And as you can see here, we're running left and right, shooting things with a gun, blocking things with a shield, and just trying not to die. This is obviously a Duck Dodgers game. It's based on the Duck Dodgers cartoons of yesteryear. Matter of fact, the levels you'll be playing through are based on specific cartoons, which makes them really nice. And if you sit through the attract mode long enough, you'll see a demo for all 5 levels in the game. This is a pretty short game, but it can be a fun one if you know what to expect and your expectations aren't all that high. I'm going to go to the options screen real quick. There are 2 types of controls. I'm going to use control type 1. A lets you use the screen clearing nutty attack, more on that later. B lets you jump, X lets you block projectiles, and Y lets you shoot your gun. There is a difficulty setting between normal and hard. I'm going to set it to normal. You can start with either 3, 4, or 5 lives. I'm going to start with 5. And you can toggle the sound effects and music if you so choose. I'm going to leave the options menu, which will kick me back to the beginning of the attract mode. Press start again. Select start. There is no password. You've got to get through this game in one sitting. And here we go with stage 1. Where there's duck, there's fire. In the beginning of every level, we get information on where we're going. In this case, it's Planet Magma, the resort planet. Pretty sure it's going to be full of lava. And on the first level, we find out that Marvin the Martian, who will be facing all throughout the game, is causing havoc on this planet. We have to stop him. He's also kidnapped some politicians as well. And once you press start, you go to the Acme Weapon Shop, where you can buy fuel, nutty attacks, continue gems, and extra lives and even weapons. Starting with the freeze gun, you shoot this at an enemy, you'll stun them for a while, and then you can shoot them until they're basically dead or until it wears off, whichever happens first. I'm doing this on post-commentary, please bear with me. The electricity gun, it doesn't always shoot straight, but when it connects, it can do some serious damage, more so than your regular blaster. Still useful to have. And the three-way gun, it shoots out an arcing three-way shot that arcs out further the farther it gets. Can be useful, especially up close. Next up is the bomb gun, which shoots out an explosive ball, which can do a lot of damage. It also bounces forward too. And the Antimatter Gun is the most powerful gun in the game. You only use that against bosses, because it can do so much damage to them. Fuel lets you fuel up your jetpack. Nutty attack is a screen clearing attack. Press A and you'll use one of them. You can have up to 8 at any given time. Continue gems, to the right of that. You start out with 5. 5 gives you 1 continue. You have to spend 5 in order to use continue. If you have any less than that and you lose your last life, it's game over. And of course, the Daffy Duck or / Duck Dodger's head, which is the most expensive thing you can get, is the extra life. We start out with 5 because I picked 5, but we have 4. 0 counts as a life. Anyway, I started with $1,500. $1,500. We're going to buy some fuel. $100 worth, that will get me up to max. And for some reason, I thought it was a good idea to buy 20 charges of Antimatter Gun and some of the bomb gun. I should have gotten antimatter. Well, for antimatter, I should have gotten 30. And you'll know why once I get further into the video. When you're done, select the exit option and you'll go to the first level. Gameplay is pretty simple. Left and right lets you move around. X lets you block. B lets you jump, A lets you use a screen clearing attack, assuming you have a nutty bomb. L and R on the top of the controller, the shoulder buttons, allow you to switch between guns. Start lets you pause. And shooting things is pretty weird in this game. When you shoot more than once, or rather when you shoot, you get knocked back, and if you keep shooting repeatedly, you're gonna be in a sitting position eventually, and you're gonna stay until that sitting position until you start moving again. Also, double tapping B allows you to fly around, which is what I did to get here. Jump through the wall. Don't know why I touched the lava. Got a continue gem and an extra life. Also, one of those mini volcanoes. Those things shoot rocks that are very deadly to the touch. Just stay away from them. And I'm going up here too to fight off another enemy. We have the heads-up display all over the screen. Upper left has the current gun you have, as well as the amount of weapons, ammo that you have for that gun that you have equipped. The regular blaster always has infinite ammo. Next to that is the score. Next to your score is the amount of cash that you have. Next to that is the amount of lives that you have. On the lower part of the screen, you have the amount of health that you have. You have the 12 hit points, and you lose all those, you lose a life. You have the number of screen clearing attacks that you have in the lower center. And next to that is the fuel, and how much fuel that you have. Enemies here are pretty simple. You have the cactus men that will stand in one place and throw cactus spikes at you while making a funny sound every so often. You also have the guys who pop out of the walls. You want to block the rocks that they make when they pop out, and you also want to block the rocks that they shoot at you too. And of course you have the lava and the rocks that jump out of it as your stage hazards all throughout this level. Each level has 3 sections, followed by a boss section. And as you can see, I'm finding power-ups and money and continue gems and extra lives everywhere I go. Also, that orange juice completely refills your health, no matter how much of it you have left. And if you stand around long enough, either Duck Dodger says Duck Dodgers, or he pumps himself up. That purple arrow is the continue point. In case you die at any point, you'll return to the last one you touched, or if you haven't, you start back at the beginning of the section. All 3 mini-bosses, there are mini-bosses at the end of every section. All 3 mini-bosses here on Planet Magma are these little Martian commanders that Marvin the Martian creates. Easiest way to kill them is to shoot them with the bomb gun 5 times. You'll save the politician and move on to the next section. And now for this one, we have a new enemy that you'll see up there, the Martian Soldiers. They take 5 hits to kill with the regular blaster. You want to shoot them at least twice and then be ready to block. You can only block while standing, but thankfully they only shoot high or low, and you can block them with the shield either way, which is always a nice touch. And some of the Martian Soldiers have big guns that shoot out big projectiles. You don't want to get hit by those big projectiles because they can do more damage than usual. Not everything will do 1 hit point worth of damage to you. Some things will do 2 hits worth of damage. Some hits will do 3 hits worth of damage. Especially those big projectiles from the Martian Soldiers with the big guns. So you definitely want to be careful. Try not to get hit a whole lot, which is something I kind of have trouble doing in the early parts of this game. One thing that you can do to get places sometimes is to face away from the direction you want to go, jump into the air, and then keep shooting until you drop down to the ground. You want to get a running jump and then quickly turn the opposite direction and then start shooting. Sometimes you'll get to where you need to go, sometimes you won't. And we're all done with this part of the resort, so now we're just going to do some platform hopping here and do some more Martian killing. Definitely want to avoid being hit by those huge projectiles there. Those guys fire every so often. Get ready to block. There we go. There's a lot of secrets in this game. You definitely notice me jump through walls to find hidden passageways and hidden nooks and crannies. I'm not going to find everything, but I will find some things. I might as well go ahead and hit that continue point because, well, In case I die, I won't start back at the beginning. Enemies do respawn, and if they do respawn, they don't drop cash again when you kill them. Which can be a little poopy sometimes because, well, in case you were wanting to farm for cash, well, you're gonna have to be pretty frugal with your money sometimes to get the stuff that you really want. I should mention the money bags. Whenever you shoot an enemy, you get anywhere between 1 to 3 money bags. Sometimes you'll get like 5 or something. And every money bag you find gives you $50 in cash to use at the Acme Weapon Shop. If they come from an enemy, you want to grab them before they disappear. In case you die and then you fight that enemy again, that cash does respawn. But once you picked it up, you can't pick it up a second time. Also, you can find it laying out in the open. Unlike the money that comes from enemies, those money bags will never disappear as soon as they come on screen. You have to be quick to get the money that comes from the enemies. And being able to find as much money as possible and get as much money as possible will definitely help in the long run, as you will see as we go through the game. Also another wall to jump through. And another one. Yet another continue gem. Nice. And before we go down there, we want to go over here, because there are some things that we can find. Using the jetpack, we can avoid touching the lava and get that extra life. At this point in the stage, at this point in Planet Magma, you'll start seeing lava dropping from the ceiling. Those lava drops will hurt you. If they've hit the ground, the splash does not. It's kind of weird. You would expect the splash to hit you. It doesn't. And we're not that far away from the end of the second section. Got a little bit more elevator taking to go. And once we get down here, we're basically at the end. All we have to do is just avoid more dropping lava, avoid some more of those rocks, take on a few Martians, and we should be good to go. Some of those rocks jump out of the lava in an arc rather than just straight up and down, so you want to be careful and get the level memorized a little bit. Thankfully, if you play through this game, you'll be seeing this level so much that you'll have no choice but to. And here is the mini-boss battle. It's time to get the bomb gun out. There's 2 more instant Martian pills. Marvin the Martian waters those. And as you'll notice, every time I shoot them, I get ready to block. That's your best bet for beating these guys unscathed. You may be able to get 2 in depending on how fast you are on the draw when it comes to blocking. And now that we've saved another politician, it's time for the 3rd section of Planet Magma. We could go left for a Martian, or we could go right for a guy that pops out of the wall. At this point, you'll start seeing enemies from sections 1 and 2, yet sadly the cactus guys are nowhere to be seen after the 1st section of Planet Magma. Which is kind of unfortunate, because I really like the cactus enemies. I know they're dead easy and everything compared to every other hazard and enemy that we fought in Planet Magma, but at the same time they make this funny little twang sound every time they shoot cactus spikes at you, and it's actually pretty funny. And here I am repeatedly blocking because I know that Martian is there somewhere, and he's there at the very left edge. How about that? And after considering whether or not to go all the way to the left, I decided to go drop down into this maze. And as you can see, you have to be very careful, or at least be more careful than I am, because not only can you accidentally use all your fuel trying to get to where you want to go, but sometimes you'll just run straight into magma and waste all your fuel sometimes and end up in places that basically lead to nothing and have no fuel left, like what I did here. Now, if you duck down and fire, you can't stand up, you gotta duck down. and keep firing like this, you'll eventually get through this hole that leads to a little hidden passage there. Got shot by a Martian, but that's okay. We got $150 and we got ourselves some more fuel. It's not a whole lot, but it's still better than having none at all. And eventually you'll come across a large area where you'll have to reach in order to get to the rest of the level. And it's a good thing I've actually managed to fly up there, because that way I was able to get an extra nutty bomb from that Martian that I just shot down, which is always a good thing. And I ran into that guy and got hit, which means I'm going all the way back to the start because I had not hit a continue point prior to losing all of my health. This time around, I go all the way to the right this time. And drop down. Try to see if I can find some more stuff. As you can see, I end up back here. There is a wall that I could have gotten through to find some extra power-ups and stuff. Can't do that, sadly. And I try to get up there with the gun technique, but I can't do it. But I do find a secret passage, and I bumble it up using my fuel. But in case you can't tell, there's a continue gem and an extra life up top. Just make sure you have enough fuel and don't accidentally fly right into the passage that got you in the room in the first place. Don't be a complete dum-dum like I was. And now we're making a little bit of headway, and I'm actually kind of liking that. Being a little cautious here because, again, the dropping magma and this guy. Realize my best bet to kill this guy is with the three-way gun. Get a little bit back, keep shooting him until he's gone. That took about 8 shots. Here's a continue point, and there's some health that I saved, though I'm never going to be able to use because I won't be able to get back up there. Oh, never mind, I accidentally used it. Stupid post-commentary. Anyway, might as well go ahead and go up there, get some cash. Can't look up or down in this game, so you gotta be careful as you go down here and get the bomb gun. And of course you want to watch out for that rock jumping out of one lava puddle to the next on the way back. And sometimes you won't get a hint that there is some lava dripping from the ceiling, like what we saw earlier as soon as you made it to the lowest part of the level. Now this part is a little bit of a maze if you get lost in video games easily. Thankfully, it's not that hard to get through. Going left to that platform just takes you to the rest of the level. I don't do that just yet. Instead, I go further to the right, shoot down this Martian, avoid the falling magma, grab some cash, accidentally get hit running into that guy. And I want to go up there, but I can't do that just yet. However, I can go down here, jump through the wall, and get another continue gem. To get back, just jump through the wall again. And now it's time to go retrace our steps. Use the gun technique to get there. That is a pit right up there, where the huge stream of lava is. We will be taking it eventually to get back up here. But for now, I'm going to go up this platform, and I can either go left or go right. I'm going to go left. And take care of that guy. Time to make our way to the left and shoot this guy. By shooting this guy down, we get some fuel for the jetpack. And if you go further left, there's nothing down there. So it's time to make our way all the way back to the right and take on this Martian soldier with a huge gun. To the right of the Martian is some money. I go down here and trigger the continue point just in case, and then realize, wait a minute, I don't have to use my jetpack to get back up there. I want to use it for something else. And I'm going to get back there eventually. That something else is down here. We're back in this area again. I use the jetpack to go up, and this guy's in the path. Switch to the three-way gun. This is how we get rid of this guy. Just hold up on the control pad with the 3-way gun equipped, shoot upwards at that guy 5 times. We get even more fuel and some more electricity gun ammo. And of course I have to use my fuel, some of the fuel that I just found over here, to get that gun. But it's worth it. Now it's time to make our way back. But first, because I have more than enough fuel to do this, instead of going back to where I left off, going back to the continue point and taking some dumb damage along the way, I decide to go back over here and go back to that one part that I couldn't drop down to. This takes us to a Martian with a big gun. And to the right is another Martian with a big gun. And I have to kinda be careful here, try not to take too much damage and try to take this guy down for another nutty attack. We're pretty much done in this area. Now it's time to go back to where we were, after taking even more dumb damage because I can't pay attention to anything. Duck Dodgers isn't that fast. I mean, he is fast, but he's not like Sonic the Hedgehog fast or anything. But you can still careen right into danger if you're not paying attention to stuff. And now it's time to go back to the right, and this time I make the jump over the gap. This takes me to $150 worth of more money. Now it's time to drop down. But unfortunately, I have so little health before the boss, or the mini-boss rather, that you know what? I might as well go ahead and eat to death. So I had to go down here, thinking it'll kill me in 1 or 2 hits. It takes me 3. So you actually have 16 hit points instead of 12. And it's amazing how not everything takes like 1 hit worth of damage. Sometimes you'll take 2, 3, or 4 from a projectile or something. But anyway, we're going up this platform. It's a good thing I found some bomb gun ammo, because that way I can shoot this guy down. Take a dumb hit in the process, but that's alright. And use up that entire bomb gun to get rid of these 2 guys, these 2 Martian commandos, these commanders, and go on to the boss section from Planet Magma. You want to come in here with at least 30 shots for the Antimatter Gun. Give yourself more than enough shots to do this with. You want to make sure to wait for Marvin to stop flashing before you shoot at him again. Not only can he shoot at you with the machine gun, but he also has this little thing on a stick that comes at you. And you want to watch how it moves closely. You want to wait for it to go up and then to the left before going back down underneath Marvin the Martian there. The first time it's the circular saw, the second time it's a pair of scissors, and the third time it is a little blaster that also shoots at your current position too. I managed to use the nutty attacks because I made this a little more difficult than I should have. But thankfully I managed to beat Marvin the Martian, avoid his machine gun, try to avoid the little thing on a stick as best I can, as well as the shots from his third form, so to speak. We get some newspaper headlines after we beat Marvin, every time we beat Marvin. We saved Planet Magma and we saved some politicians, but well, Planet Magma isn't exactly saved because we blew it up. Just like in the Duck Dodgers cartoons. And the next stage is 20,000 Martians Under the Sea, which takes place in Aquarion 4, an underwater planet, a very watery planet. Here in Aquarion 4, Marvin has built an undersea lab and plans to create a huge instant Martian army with all those little green pills that he waters. Headquarters also reminds us to leave the rubber ducky at home this time. So after we press start, we're going to go back to the Acme weapon shop, just like we do for every level. and I buy $150 worth of fuel, a decision that I will begin to rue later. Buy about 70 shots of Antimatter Gun, more than enough. And I decide on what else to buy as I go through all these things, and I buy 20 shots of Bomb Gun. I go ahead and buy a Nutty Attack and a Continue Gem. That leaves me with $350. I don't buy anything else. And as I sit here explaining things in my former live commentary, I exit. Now it's time to pause the game and call it a video. Whenever you pause, you get a map of your current location. Your current location is signified by that flashing dot. Anyway, join me next time where I play through level 2, where I go through Aquarian 4, and try not to get deep sixed, as I try to take on Marvin the Martian and foil his plot for world domination somewhere once again. This is going to be a pretty interesting one, so why don't you join me then? Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!